Hello. Today we're going to be taking a look at the design process as well as the design document. This is in chapter 2 of your book, and you can find these slides also on Canvas or on the author's website. So let's just jump right into it here. Design is actually a somewhat complex process. There's a lot of pieces to it. We'll take a little bit of a look at that during our course here. But as we do these designs, we're going to create a document that's going to talk about what kind of game we want to make, basically. So here's our overview for what we're going to take a look at here on these slides. Where's a design document? Do you need one? How to create it physically? Things like that. So we'll go ahead and just jump right into it here. So first of all, what is a design document? You probably have heard of these things. They are documents that basically outline or provide a vision and a mission for your game. A blueprint is a good way to look at it. A blueprint for your game. What is my game going to be and how is it going to work? It contains all the basic ideas. Now make sure you understand that there's not all the information about your game in this design document. There are other things we're going to create as well. You'll learn more about that in more advanced classes. But this gives you the basics. So if you take a look at this slide right here, you can see we're going to be looking at the vision, the mission of the game, like I just said, the basic ideas. The intimate details are usually developed actually during the process of making the game. It's actually a very active kind of a document. Do you need one? Well, yeah, you do. If you have a game of any size at all or complexity, you really need to have this document because it keeps you on track. Provides guidance, guidelines for your game project, especially if you're on a team, which you will be in later classes. Repository for your ideas. It also is something that's changed frequently based on how you think about the game as you begin to develop it. Notice it provides a testing bed for ideas. The game you end up making at the end of the process is almost certainly going to be something different than what you originally envisioned, maybe drastically so. How do you create this design document? A lot of ways to do it. Typically, it's going to be a computer document, something online, probably shared between your team members. It is possible to do these sorts of things in handwritten designs, like in a sketchbook or something like that. You can record them. Those two ideas generally not used as much because they're not as handy. Handwritten designs can't be searched, not easy to share with other people, they can't be modified easily. So it's not a bad idea to keep a sketchbook with you, just to kind of keep an idea of what you want to put into your final document. So you're sitting someplace waiting for an appointment, you think of something, you get a flash of insight, and you want to put that idea into your sketchbook. But later on you probably want to go with a computer document of some kind. Again, probably a shared document somewhere on the internet so people can look at it as well as you. So computer documents really are our preferred way to go, and the way that we will go here in our class. Design itself takes up a couple of different focuses. There's a descriptive design and a logical design. The descriptive design really tells you more what the idea is. Notice it says here it can be verbal. Concept art is just ideas. You're not really sure what you want, it's just an idea. But it focuses on these verbal descriptions, so they're more like what you want, not how you want it to work in detail. This is your logical design. This is going to show you the actual steps you want to go through to create whatever behavior it is you're looking for in your game. So this next slide here shows you a very simple example of something that would be a logical design. Notice it gives you the actual steps. Start here, initialize my starting checkpoint. Once those are done, move on to this next step, wait for a collision at a checkpoint, go down here to your last part, collision with a checkpoint, gives you a save. So what it's doing here is talking about how to create a checkpoint system. The descriptive design we were talking about before in that previous slide right there would be something more along the lines of, I want a checkpoint that allows me to hit a coin which will save my position in the game, like we'll do with Sancho. whereas a logical design really shows you how to create that checkpoint. Typically, the descriptive design comes first. You're just kind of throwing out ideas about what you want in your game, and you work out the details later on. So here are the sections of our document. There are many templates available, and we have some examples as well over on our canvas there. But the game concept, game characters, game story, game world, game audio, game interfaces are typical sections you would have in them. Let's take a look at these guys. So the first one's our game concept, and the first one that we're going to be working on here in our class. We have a mission, we have a vision in there. What is the basic idea for our game? What's the vision for our game? A 1 or 2 sentence description of what our game is about. This is called a hook. We want to grab whoever's listening to our description or reading it in our document so they're interested in our game. So it should be a description that really would grab someone's attention, again called a hook. Target information would be who you expect to play this, and this would be say the age of the people, the genre, of course, things like that. Is it going to be a mature game, not a mature game? The platform makes a big difference too. If you're going to be doing a game, is it going to be on a PC, going to be on a console, mobile? The design, as you're probably aware, is quite different depending on what kind of a platform it is that you actually are targeting. The design will change. Again, primary game features would be on here, and if there is a win-loss condition, some games don't have true win-loss conditions, what those win-loss conditions would be. So it's really an overview of your game. The game concept is usually not more than, say, a page or two. Now once you get past that, you get into your game characters. Who is the player? In other words, what's your avatar in the game, right? What can they do, what they look like, how they behave. This is important because these things translate into your game mechanics. They will describe to your other team members, if you have any, what your character should be able to do, and they'll know then how to create that behavior in the game. It also affects your design as well. Imagine you have a player character that can fly. Your level design is going to change quite a bit from a character that cannot fly. So that sort of thing is pretty important to know. What the character is able to do translates directly into the game mechanics. Other characters in the game, again, same process. What do they look like, how they behave. This will change your design. And you can see chapter 5 and 6 kind of handles characters and AI, the NPC characters and that sort of thing. The next thing here would be our game story, if you have one. Of course, some games don't have stories, but some do. So what happens in the game and why? These would be challenges faced by the player, how the story will progress. These usually will give you what your obstacles will be in the game. The obstacles in the story, I should say, or the challenges in the story, become the obstacles in the game. So again, it affects your design very heavily, assuming you have the kind of game that really has a strong story, like an RPG or something like that. The game world. Now we use the term world here kind of loosely. It really means the game environment. It doesn't have to be an actual world like Skyrim or Witcher or something like that. I mean, you can even think of something like Candy Crush as a world. It's a world where you have weird exploding candies and stuff, but it's still a world. So what does it look like? Is it realistic? Is it cartoony? Is it some other sort of art form? It's derived from, again, the story of the game, if you, again, have one. You should have things like your kinds of props. Do you have tables, chairs, desks, things like that? Again, textures and animations, art styles, that's really, is it, again, cartoony? Is it realistic? That's a decision you make early on so that you don't have to redo your artwork once you decide what you want in your game. Game audio is pretty important. Don't neglect this piece. We want to think about not just the sound effects, as you see here, but also, say, ambient audio. Do I have birds chirping in the background, things like that? What kind of music might be in the game? Again, this is a style issue. You want upbeat music, sad music, scary music, things like that. And don't forget interface audio. When I'm in my game and I'm pressing on buttons and I'm clicking on things, say in the menu, then there's usually a sound, like a clicking sound or something like that. And that's something that I want to make sure that I don't neglect what kind of sound it will make when I'm actually clicking on things. Players will miss that if it's not there. Now, last thing is our game interface. The interface really refers to the way the player interacts with the game, the controls. That includes your physical controllers. So again, this depends on your platform. If I'm going to do a VR game with a Vive or something like that, then my controls are going to be with the handheld controllers, obviously. If I'm going to be on a PC, probably a keyboard, mouse, that sort of thing. It includes the visual look. This is the HUD, the overlay. It also includes your menus, so my start button and things like that, dialogues, that sort of thing. Again, it's a little bit later on in the book, which we will not cover in detail in this class, but your game design document would have that sort of information. Okay, so that about does it then for our design slides. Go ahead and read through the chapter on this. Make sure you understand those basic ideas, and you should be good to go for our first assignment.